Another box with some goodies. This time, Ynse sent me another revenge box. So let's unpack and see what I did with them. And before I forget, thanks for joining my channel again. It took the delivery service only one day to bring this package from the Netherlands to Belgium, and I hope in future it'll stay that way. Ynse really taped it well, and it came with some instructions. So following these, I will carefully unpack what he sent me. There's a box in the box and a second box, so now I have to unpack two boxes. It's all packed really carefully. It seems like Ynse likes to recycle the packing materials I sent him in previous packages. I can see the cut cardboard and some packing peanuts, but there's also some well-packed green stuff. He told me what's in each box, so I know what to look for. He also put in some freshly dried sphagnum moss, and this certainly will come in handy in the near future. And there are the plastic bottles again. They surely like to travel from the Netherlands to Belgium and back again. So now I'll have to find something to put in them when I send Ynse's last box in October. He knows it's coming, but he doesn't really know what all will be in it. I'm sure I'll find something that fits. And now for the fun part, unpacking the orchids very carefully. He really packed them all very good to assure everything would arrive without any damage. The first one's without a tag, but I know what it is, so that's easily fixed. And it seems it has to hang, but there's no hook. So that I'll have to provide, trying not to damage my hands while doing it. Good gracious, he did it again. Ynse can be a mule when it comes to sharing his orchids with others. I told him not to divide his beautiful Bulbophyllum, but then again, he's so kind and I hope he didn't damage his plant too much. And instead of sending me one division, there are two. In the plastic bottles, there are the two divisions of his Brassada or brassia Orange Delight. These divisions were left over when he repotted and divided his mother plant. And since no one else wanted a piece, he sent me both of them. And in the pot on the left, there's a division of his Rhipsalis he promised me. The Rhipsalis is a tropical Brazilian cactus that grows epiphytically in the rainforest. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it at the moment, so I'll figure it out later, and until then it'll have to stay in its pot as it is. The two nice brassia or brassada divisions I will leave in their plastic bottles until I pot them up or maybe mount them. They're safe in there and they can wait a few more hours. And these are very nice, big Bulbophyllum divisions. I really hope Ynse didn't damage his plants too much. And lastly, there's a Panmorphia or Minutalis, a miniature orchid with tiny yellow blooms, and instead of a division, he sent me the whole plant. He told me because it's well anchored in the live moss, he didn't want to mess with it. But believe me, Ynse, from the moment it's possible, I'll take a division and send it back to you. This is such a well-grown plant, and it must have taken him years to come to this result. Thank you for trusting it to me. In the end, I decided to mount these two orchids, and after carefully unpacking the brassia divisions, I put them in a weak seaweed solution, as I usually do, and let them soak for an hour or so. I did the same with the Bulbophyllum to give the orchids a much needed boost. Both brassia divisions are showing signs of producing new roots, so I'll have to be careful not to damage these, or these lovely plants could die or be severely set back. The box arrived last Thursday morning, but I had an appointment with my specialist for my back in the afternoon, where he decided to give me an anti-inflammatory injection straight into my spine. It also has a painkiller in it, and after receiving this injection I have to stay flat for at least 12 hours, so I couldn't attend to the plants immediately. But on Friday, while still soggy, I decided I couldn't leave the orchids the way they were, so I started working with them. However, I forgot to turn on the camera for part of what I did, but I'll explain later and you will get the idea. While the plants were soaking, I prepared the mounts. I decided to mount both the brassia and the Bulbophyllum. This is a teakwood dish I got at the dollar store, and I drilled holes in the bottom and along the rim. This way excess water can flow away, and the big holes in the bottom also help with aeration, plus in future roots can grow through them. The holes I drilled in the rim will help me secure the plants onto the wood. And because these brassia type hybrids like to keep their roots humid, I decided to cut up some pieces of tree fern to fit in the wooden bowl, and I will be mounting both pieces on them and then create one solid mount. First, I remove the dried sheets at the bottom of the growths, very carefully not to damage the appearing root nubbins. If these sheets don't come off easily, you just tear them in the middle and then you can just peel them off. If they resist, don't pull too harsh, as you can damage roots that are forming underneath them. Some of the old roots on the divisions are starting to branch out too, so I will not cut anything away that's still on there. Each division is mounted on one piece of tree fern by using cotton wire. This won't damage the plants and will rot away in time, and by then the plants will have attached themselves to their mount. I covered the root base with some of the fresh sphagnum moss Ynse sent me to keep them moist, and I must be careful not to let them dry out. The plants are secured by first weaving the wire in between the bulbs, and then the roots, covered by sphagnum moss, are pushed against the tree fern, so any new roots that will come have the chance to anchor themselves. I will repeat the same process with the second piece and then put them together into the wooden bowl. I was going to secure the 3 fern trunks with some thin bonsai wire that I had put through the holes on the other side. But this idiot had cut them off too short, so I had to take them out again. And now I will be securing the trunks by putting the bonsai wire through the holes I drilled along the rim of the bowl. The idea is to stand up the whole trunk or hang it vertically, and since the divisions aren't secure yet onto their mount, I decided to put an extra support around the growths to keep them upright until they establish themselves. This way the plants can't tip over and the growths can't break off incidentally. I did the same with the Bulbophyllum cuttings, but since I can't cover the rhizome, I needed to put some moss around it to keep the roots humid. The only difference here is that the base actually is an ikebani dish, which is actually used for flower arrangements, and it's ceramic. It didn't have any holes in it, so I had to drill some. And although I can easily put it horizontally, I also decided to hang it vertically and drill the hole in the side that's now going to be the bottom. This way water can't stay standing in it. The base is roughly glazed, so if the plant wants, it can easily attach its roots onto it. And there's also enough growth space left for a couple of years. Because autumn is standing before our doorsteps, I decided to put the new plants straight into the grow tent for winter. The Rhipsalis is still waiting to be repotted in the near future, but the orchids are already under the grow lights. The grow tent has been empty all summer because all plants that are in it in winter have been growing outside. Some of the more heat-loving plants I already brought in, like my miniatures and a few of the Cattleya I still have. The Panmorphia has got a hook now and is hanging on the darker side of the grow tent. Here temperature stays lower and humidity higher. I hope it will do okay here. The Orange Delight is adjusting lower down out of the direct light and will slowly be moved up when I see it starts growing to a position that's a bit warmer and gets more light. The Bulbophyllum will stay here because it needs high humidity and quite low light. Also, when I would move it up, the temperature at the top half of the grow tent may be too much for it, as it can easily reach 30 degrees during the day caused by the heat generated by the grow light. This is where the Cattleyas like to be during winter. And as you can see, I have several real miniatures hanging there, but they're all here for a certain reason, and this will get cleared up in a few months' time. And yes, I filmed this after all plants in the grow tent were misted again in late afternoon. There's a small fan to dry them up quickly if needed, but at the moment the front is still open, so there's enough air circulation to dry up the plants quickly. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and mounting video, and if you're in Europe and still want to order some orchids, keep in mind that there's still a 10% discount code at the current orchids. But don't wait too long, it'll end at October 15th. Anyway, until next video.